Hi guys, today we are going to go over loading the needle drivers. Now I want to preface this by saying each surgeon is going to be different on how they prefer their needle drivers to be loaded, but I'm going to show you the most basic way to load it, and then a surgeon can adjust it based on their preferences. So first off, I have three different sutures here for you. We have the size 1, we have the size 2.0, and the size 4.0. In a different video, we will be going over different suture types, but just think of it this way. 1 is big, 2.0 is slightly smaller, and 4.0 is smaller than that. So anything 2.0 and bigger going towards the whole numbers, you will use this big needle driver. If you go 3.0 or smaller, you'll want to use the smaller needle driver or the Webster if you're in plastic surgery. I'm going to show you on the big needle driver the correct way to load a needle. Now remember, you don't want to touch the needle with your hand too much because you don't want to get stuck. So typically, you think of the needle driver in thirds or in half. Here's the tip to the other end. If you load the needle driver back here, like that, when you go through the tissue, it's going to get torqued and the needle will probably bend that way. You don't want it to bend. So to load this big driver, we're going to find the halfway part of the needle and we're going to move just slightly back towards the tail end of it. We're going to clip it perpendicular, which means the needle driver is going this way and the needle is going to go straight like that, so perpendicular to the driver. And the reason being is if you make it perpendicular, the surgeon can adjust if they want it more angled one way or the other or less angled. But for the purposes of generically loading a driver, you want it to be perpendicular to the driver. Now, depending on the body cavity that you're in, you might use a bigger driver than this. For instance, if you're in the abdominal cavity, you'd use a larger driver. Same thing goes for using the small needle driver on 3.0 and smaller suture. We're gonna pull it out here. I'm gonna find the end of the needle and move just ever so slightly out, perpendicular to the needle driver. You also want to be cognizant if the person suturing is left or right-handed. If you're loading your own suture, you obviously know, but if you're getting ready to pass the suture to somebody, you want them to be able to suture appropriately. So this would be for a right-handed person. And if you're loading it back-handed or for left-handed, you just simply turn it upside down, and then you can fix it after you flip it over.